Feeling overwhelmed, me too. Feeling incapable, I have been there. We all want more, don't we? But more of what? Time? Perhaps. Money? Definitely. Happiness? That's something we need to work towards. Recognition? How do we achieve that? It's clear, isn't it? We are all in the same boat, yearning for similar things. So here is the deal. What we truly need is a shift in what you ask, in perspective, in how we view the world. Life is complicated, and though we are all humans, experiencing life in our unique ways, our feelings often align, especially toward certain things. We find ourselves caught in a similar thought patterns, but deep down, our desires are similar. Let's uncover the true nature of the world as we experience it together.
Being a human being is not easy as opposed to an animal because we're born and nobody gives us a direction. Our parents might be a little bit at our college, but generally we're on our own. And it's a very, very difficult process. You wake up in the morning and you don't really know what you can do. You choose 12 different paths. It can be very confusing and very overwhelming. When you find that sense of purpose, everything has a direction. Everything has a purpose. Your energy is concentrated. It's not like you're just going down a single narrow pathway. It's not like life becomes boring and it's just about discipline and solving problems. It's actually the most exciting thing that can ever happen to you. People come at you with all kinds of distractions and boring and irritating things. You're able to cut it out. It's just the most marvelous piece of internal radar that you can have.
Do you remember anything from before you were born? Or the moment you were born? Of course not. But that's the whole story. Before we arrived, the world was already turning. Wars, pandemics, revolutions, financial crisis, climate change. People just like us endured these times. Yet, we are not there. We didn't experience any of it. But these events, unfolding for millions of years, have deeply shaped what's happening today, and we had no control over any of it. What about when we were born? We entered the world that will one day be part of history. Did we choose our family, our society, our belief system, our moment in history, our place of birth, or even our genes? Absolutely not. We were born into a random space and time, a mystery we may never fully understand, and all of this was beyond our control. From the moment we are born, we are fed arbitrary thoughts and beliefs that shape our emotions and behaviors. Think about your childhood or teenager years. Did you really choose your religion, sports, field of study, games, friends, or ideology? Or were you influenced by the people and institutions around you, the media you and your family consumed? They shaped your thinking, your choices, your behavior, your values. Unfortunately, no one has access to all the options in the world to choose from. We are largely shaped by our experiences. And that's what brings us today. We speak a certain language, adhere to specific ideologies or religions, all because of where and when we were born. If we were born in the 18th century or in Mexico instead of Africa, our lives would be entirely different, but obviously it's not the case. All these factors are out of our control. As babies, children, and even as we grow, we absorb everything around us. It's only later that we realize what we have absorbed. But as young children, we rarely question what we are taught. We simply absorb everything, often without understanding the full impact. The idea of doubting becomes daunting, as it might mean confronting the possibility that our youth was based on misconceptions and the foundation of our existence were shaped by arbitrary thoughts from various sources. Many of these sources are from people whose true intentions we might never know. In a sense, our early selves are molded by circumstances beyond our control. So what has changed now that we are here, in the present? We are left to navigate the realization and understand how it shapes our current reality by creating a new foundation, new perspective, and new values, and creating a harmony with ourselves and the world.
Each one of us encounters reality, and reality is reality. And to accept reality and to think it's your responsibility to deal with reality in the best possible way will bring you a better life. When you sit there and you have opinions, particularly critical opinions of others, and you're not in their shoes, it's not good, even in yourself. So these judgments about what this person should do is dividing us, is fragmenting us, is harming us. But where is the rule book of this person should be this way and that person should be that way? So the only thing you could do is struggle well and own your life.
What deeply impacts our daily lives? It's a mix of emotions and experiences. Desires, disappointment, pain, regret, guilt, stress, hatred, suffering. These feelings have become normalized in our habits, ingrained in us through our learning and education process. We often view them as unchangeable, as if they are set in stone. This conditioning begins from the time we were babies, blank slates in our existence, and continues to influence us up to this very day. How do we free ourselves from the negative emotions that cloud our actions and obscure reality itself? The key lies in understanding judgment and its role in our lives. This is where much of our pain stems from. Our judgments are often based on our beliefs, values, and expectations, which may not align with the actual nature of the world. By expecting the world to conform to our idealistic views, we set ourselves up for disappointment, suffering, and deception. We often wish for human nature to match our idealistic vision, failing to see it for what it truly is. Humans are not solely driven by moral forces. Desires, interest, and power also play significant roles. Consider this. We accept and adapt to the weather using an umbrella when it rains, or wearing a coat in the cold. Yet, when it comes to human nature, we often pass a judgment categorizing behaviors as good or bad, even though these two are influenced by nature. We have a tendency to focus on what others are doing wrong, rather than examining our own faults. This is because we experience the world through our own lens of perception. Anything that doesn't align with our viewpoint is often dismissed or discredited. We lack control over how others perceive and interact with their own world. This includes politicians, artists, co-workers, friends, family, celebrities, and historical figures. Each person has their unique perception and desires shaped by their experiences. Who are we to judge them through our lens, imposing our values and expectations on them? Expecting human nature to conform to our ideals is like expecting the natural world to bend to our will. It's simply not how things work. Understanding, not judging, is the key to overcoming this mindset that we possess the ultimate truth about how people should or shouldn't behave. The world operates like a complex snowball of cause and effect. It functions in a rational way. Even if we don't always see the logic or the reasons behind actions, our lack of understanding doesn't mean there isn't any underlying rationale. We need to approach the world with humility, recognizing its complexity. Nature and humanity are intervened in a system far beyond our individual perceptions. Holding on to expectations for the world to be different than it is only leads us to disappointment, hatred, and pain.
What is mimetic desire? Mimetic desire means that we're adopting another person's desire as our own, usually without even realizing that we're doing it. So social media has given us millions of mimetic models that we now have to contend with. Some people have went from having 10 mimetic models to now having 1 million. And we haven't quite come to grips as a culture with what that means for our mental and emotional health.
Remember a time when you had to present in front of people. Recall that feeling, the stress, shame, embarrassment. What's at the root of these emotions? It's the fear of judgment. This fear profoundly affects us as humans. We ask ourselves, do I look stupid? Do I look good in these clothes? Am I presenting the best version of myself? It would be hypocritical to claim that others' judgment don't affect us. To deny this is to deny reality and the role of our ego, which consistently strives to project a certain image. We often find ourselves trying to project our image into the mind of others, wondering what they think about us. But the truth is, all of this is beyond our control. Brands understand this very well. They exploit our obsession with image, encouraging us to buy products not for their intrinsic value, but for the social image they project. It's about how these products will make us appear in the eyes of others. It's crucial to recognize what's within our control and what isn't. We can manage our health through exercises, diet, and proper sleep. We have power over how we spend our time, whether we use it to learn and grow, moving towards a life free from frustration, or let it slip away while blaming external forces. We choose our activities and the company we keep. We shape our perspective of the world and how we perceive reality. However, there are aspects of life we simply can't control. This includes others' opinions of us, how people behave, the actions of politicians and celebrities, disease, natural disasters, wars, historical events that have shaped our world, and most importantly, death. These elements are beyond our influence and must be accepted as they are. Obsessing over them can distract us from focusing on the areas where we do have control. On a sense, anything that is natural and inevitable should not affect us. The second vital understanding is about human nature. This condition ingrained in us by nature itself is shared universally. We must accept it as it is. Our egocentric vision, driven by survival instincts. Our social behaviors motivated by status and validation, and our pursuit of power to ascend the hierarchical ladder and fundamental aspect of being human. This applies to everyone, whether they are contemporaries or historical figures. It's important to recognize that no one is above these natural tendencies. We all exhibit this characteristic to varying degrees. All these factors influence our judgments, and judgment is where ignorance often finds its foothold. Without understanding the underlying causes of actions, we set ourselves up with unrealistic expectations. We mistakenly believe we can change the natural order of the world, an illusion that's amplified by social media. This leads to a cycle of disappointment, hatred, and pain as we judge the world through our narrow lens and moral standards, expecting reality to be different from what it truly is. Remember, without expectations there is no disappointment. Instead of reacting, we should accept. Instead of judging, we should live. As Charles Robin once said, we carry nothing to the grave but the fulfillment of having lived well. Hello everyone, thank you for watching the video until the end. I hope it allowed you to see the world differently. Stoicism is a timeless philosophy and it has been used for centuries, and I think we need it even more nowadays. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you have any comment, leave it below. If you want to watch more videos like this, click here. I'm Mohamed Hedi Malouli, and I will see you next time.